There's actually a lot more details to what was discovered with the new Mark papyri. So I want to play this section of this video here where Josh McDowell explains a little bit about the process that they used and what are some of the texts that they discovered. It's really fascinating.
Well, here, this is today's the first time I can show this publicly. Here's those masks. Look at that. That would fit over the head. All the paint you see on there, girls, is actually gold. Now, in a little bit, I'm going to show you how we wash that gold right down the sink. Show the other mask that goes with it. There's two of this. Now in that mask are manuscripts. You say, what? Oh yeah, classical, biblical, Old Testament, New Testament. Why? Well, they had professional people at the morgues. And they would go out, when they had a royal burial, they would go out into the community, everywhere from the trash to homes, businesses, and they would collect manuscripts. Some of it was just town meetings, statistics, things like that, just anything that was a manuscript form that was on papyrus. And then they would take, in a way that we could understand, they would use it as paper mache. They would make these, you could almost say it's papyrus-shade. It's paper mache done with papyrus. And they would do 4 manuscripts and then a layer of silk, and then 4 manuscripts, a layer of silk. Now here's how you know the dating, for one. These masks were only done from 150 BC to 125 AD. So you realize, any manuscripts in there are the oldest ever seen by human eyes. It's the first time in 2,000 years human eyes have seen these manuscripts. It was in here that we discovered Mark, the oldest ever, back to the 1st century. Before then it was 120 to 142 with the John Ryland papyri. Now, what you do, you take this mask. Oh, scholars die when they hear it, but we own them, so you can do it. You take these manuscripts, we soak them in water. There is a process we use with huge microwaves to do it, but it's not quite as good. We put it down into water. Can you put it up here too? We put it down into water at a certain temperature, and you can only use palmolive soap. The rest will start to destroy the manuscripts. Palmolive soap won't. And you start massaging it for about 30, 40 minutes. You'll pull it up, wring it out, literally wring it out. These are worth millions. And then you put it back in for about 30, 40 minutes. And then you pull it out, and this is what it'll look like, just like a gob. It looks like a cow's head. But that's all papyrus manuscript, folks. Over 2,000 years old. And you start pulling it apart. Say, what? Yep. They're layered on top of each other. You start pulling them apart. Keep going. See, there you put them right. See, most scholars have never touched a manuscript. You have to have gloves on anything. We just wash them and hold them in our hands. We don't even make you wash your hands before. See, this is a manuscript right there. See, a manuscript, by definition, is not an entire book. It's a portion of the book. It could be just a little piece to we have one now that's 38 pages on Corinthians, probably greater discovery than the Dead Sea Scrolls. And keep going.
Wow, did you just hear that? Practically a whole scroll on Corinthians, he says. Greater discovery than the Dead Sea Scrolls. I imagine it is. Wow, when we see that, that's going to be incredible.
Going here. This is all, now, see my hand up in the right hand, that's a pair of tweezers. And you take those tweezers and you start pulling the layers of manuscripts off. I was so scared the first time I did it. It was last January. It was a little bit before then. I was so scared. What if you tear it? And they say, well, you tear it. Since we own it, it's okay. And so you pull the manuscripts off. See, that in the center is red lettered. That's a very rare discovery. It's called a red lettered Greek New Testament, where some of the red letters, see the big ones, are put across to identify and everything. Keep going here. Now this here, I'm down, and we had 3 classical scholars brought in because I'm not a classical scholar. And they were to help me to understand what we were doing. And so I called one of them over, and I said, I don't know, what do you think this is? He said, Josh, there's another layer underneath. No, there isn't. Josh, another layer. So he soaked it in water, this for a while, and started peeling it off. That there is the oldest copy of the book of Romans by 125 years ever discovered. Shoots the hole in every liberal theology about Romans and when it was written and everything.
Yep, say bye-bye to higher criticism. That's absolutely incredible right there, what he just said. 100 and some odd years greater than the existing book of Romans we have. Incredible. The Lord is good. He's doing marvelous things. Let's keep listening.
It's incredible. And now, I was so thankful. I mean, if you're a scholar, I'm not. If you're a scholar and you discover one manuscript like that and your name is put on it, that makes your entire career. No, it's literally, it's what you call a career maker. Any one of these manuscripts is a career maker. And the top scholar in the world was in my office the other day, and he brought in some new discoveries we're looking at, and we're going to be doing 2 more of these masks, December 5th and 6th. And he said, Josh, I hate to say this to you, but in the last mask, we broke your record. We took it back another 25 years, the book of Romans.
Wow.
Folks, do you realize what this means with the Word of God? And here it was hidden underneath another layer. And then I'm doing this, and I come across this one, and I thought, boy, it's really clear, well done. And there were numbers between the 2 lines down here. And I called one of the scholars, I said, you know, I'm not quite sure what this means. He said, oh, you have just uncovered the first ever book 1, page 1 of the Iliad by Homer. And those 2 numbers, the first number said what book it was, and the second set of numbers what page. Folks, that's like dying and going to heaven. And then just keep going through the manuscripts here. Hello? Yeah. These are all, it's all of one manuscript. Just keep going. Look at that. This is incredible. 17 in 6 hours uncovered. These are just biblical manuscripts, and many other 30-some total manuscripts of the Iliad and Homer. Sappho's, some of you know the great writer Sappho's. See there how it just peels off? That's my finger underneath the one on the left there. And you just peel them away.
You remember, some of you might have seen the debate between Wallace and Ehrman. And Wallace was saying that these discoveries had come to light, and Ehrman was kind of just sitting there wondering. And since Bart Ehrman is probably the most popular higher critic of the day, it's going to be really interesting to see what he says now. Hopefully, his doubts will go away.
And then, of course, we put them in between paper towels, you dry it, and then we put them into glass to protect them. But the problem is you can't ship these things in the mail. You have to pay all the expenses, some of the fly with them. You got to keep them with. They're so valuable. And have them dated everything by Cambridge and Oxford, which are the top 2 in the world. And
all right, so that's a little tidbit of some more manuscripts. The earliest book of Romans, that's so important because Paul outlines the gospel, and we know the book of Romans also is the refutation of Roman Catholicism. The gospel of grace is documented in the book of Romans. So, again, apart from the variants, if there are any in these manuscripts, time will tell, but from what they're saying preliminary, these are about as good as it gets right now. And so we wanted to present this additional data. We're going to put this in our playlist on biblical evidences and facts. And so we wanted to show you this little clip here and tell you it's a great time to be alive. The Bible is being confirmed. Not that we who have living faith really needed it, but there are those, again, as we've said, that have been mind controlled by the public school educational brainwashing, which is really what it is. We have to say it honestly and sincerely. People are being mind controlled in public education, and it's all come down by liberal higher critic scholars out of Germany after the Reformation, and then this was swallowed hook, line, and sinker throughout the decades, and eventually led to what we have now in our public school education system, where they're taught ungodliness and all kinds of mind-controlling doctrines to be controlled by evil, wicked men. So we wanted to, again, show you this, and until next time, Lord willing, we'll see you again.